Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're supposed to join me today for the last episode. I think this is gonna be a full episode, but if not, if not, you're never gonna listen to this because I'm gonna make a cut. So now I'm faced with a, and that was the cut, by the way, right there. Actually, the cut is gonna be this one. So now I'm faced with the decision, but it's interesting because I don't think I can fight it. I don't think I can fight the sorrow. This is a good question. If you'd prefer that we all die, why don't you just sever the connection? I have manifested here, says the sorrow, but I do not control the resonance itself. I am the lock on the door, while your thoughts are the key. Your will remains paramount in this place. I can resist your choice, but I cannot make the choice for you. Okay, so I still control this. Okay, so yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, yeah. So I don't think I have a choice. I'm ready, though. I think the choice is what I was saying before, but we have all the choices over here. I don't think I have a choice. I say yes, I have 7 choices. Well, actually 6, because this one is not. The sorrow ripples in the mental breeze that flows from your confidence. I await your decision. So, okay, so I'll finish the Changing God's work and merge all the cast-offs into my own consciousness. That could be a thing. I don't want to do that, because I'm objectively opposed to what the Changing God wanted to do, so that's effectively finishing his work. No. We cast-offs that are Cancer. I will sever the title connection to excise our influence on the world. Excise our influence on the world. Okay, don't want to do that either. That's what the sorrow was trying to do. I think even that's what I was saying about paragons before and all that sort of stuff. I don't think they are I mean, they are a Cancer. The problem is they were, you know, the definition of Cancer is it's junk. That's why Cancer is so tricky to fight without really big genetic control that we have. We don't really have a big genetic control on us. Cancer, the thing with Cancer is that it's effectively, it's just normal, it's exactly normal things, but the problem is it's not good. So you get a tumor, it can be benign or it can be malign, or bad, anyway. The thing is it's normal cells, it's just with a different genetic instruction that cause them to bug out, basically. It's a bug that will kill you eventually if it's a bad bug, and that's what it is. We are not bad, because we do have, you know, people can do things that are bad, and we do things that are bad, like, because we have a lot of influence, but we still are people. You wouldn't eradicate a race of people just because, like, go and play Metro 2033. That's all I'm talking about, so no, that's not, no. None of these choices are right, and I have no right to choose the fate of so many. I want to return everything and everyone the way it was. Well, it's not about the right. I don't feel. Yeah, I just don't feel that this is. I had my misgivings about this choice before, but I don't think that that's a good choice anyway. Because what I was saying is bring everything to the way it was before. I wanted to go that way, but I wanted it in only the way if the Changing God wouldn't have become the Changing God and wouldn't have tried to go after Mika and erase the past in that way. That would have made it simpler. That would have fixed the problem. And because I clearly have the power of changing the past, I think, or maybe I'm just drawing on the tides to do that or something. I don't know. The thing is, and by the way, what I said about Matkina believing her past rather than me changing her mind and not the past, I think I said that in the episode. I was like, when I used the Matkina's Mirrorcaster, I was like, oh, I changed the Mirrorcaster, and now she believes what happened in the Mirrorcaster, but I didn't actually change reality. Well, apparently I did change reality, and the game was quite obviously telling me that. I just didn't believe the game at that point. Yeah, just the correction in hindsight. But this one, I just have misgivings because the reason for this is just stupid. I have no right. It doesn't matter if you have a right or not. It doesn't matter. If my character is the only one that can do it, and if it needs to be done, there we go. So, is my character the only one that can do it? Yes. Does it need to be done? Yes, because otherwise it's just a loop, I believe. I believe this leads to a loop, that's the problem. The only one blameless in all... Oh, I mean, it could be an interesting thing, but yeah. The only one blameless in all of this is Mika, the mortal daughter of the changing god. That's true. Merge our consciousness into her, and she'll leave out her days in my body. Okay, that's the body, but still might. It probably will give her the disease as well. My eldest sister, the first, I choose her as the repository of our minds. That's terrible. Let's not go with that. Because she has a terrible body. And she also is... No, I don't like her. I reject your authority, Sorrow. I will use the resonance to destroy you, and all of us will live free. But this will sacrifice... I think this will sacrifice a lot of people. This will do the thing that he was saying before. This is what would happen if... This is worse... No, this is a little bit better than what would happen if the first cast-off had done what she wanted to do. Because what the first cast-off was going to do was destroy this Mind Palace, or this Mind Labyrinth, which would have destroyed all the cast-offs, the Changing God, all the memories in here, and destroyed this guy, and just done what this would do. So this is just better because we survive. I don't like that. So I think the poetic ending that I was saying about before, I think it's beautiful. I hope that it's the right choice. And let's go with that. I hope that it's also according to my character, but I think it is. It's somehow connected to this, though. It's just... I have so many misgivings about this, but... Well, it's all in the hands of the game. Her? Asks the first cast-off. You choose the catalyst of this war situation to survive? She's not blameless. Without her, we'd never have attracted the Sorrow's attention in the first place. She has been dead for centuries, you fool. Give the gift to the living. The Sorrow pauses, evaluating you. I think that just justified. That was good. That just justified what I just did. You have lived your life compassionately and with sacrifice. Your answer does not come as a surprise, though your willingness to sacrifice the lives of all your siblings does. Yes, it does, yeah. Tell me, why have you made this decision? Oh, that's brilliant. I need to justify it. That's awesome. She had nothing to do with the situation. She is innocent in all this. It wasn't Changing God's fault, not hers. I can blame the victim. Okay, that's true. But then again, that's not really why. She has been dead for centuries, her life snatched away by forces beyond her control. I want to give her the chance to show her potential. I think the closest one is this one. The first? Let's go with it. The first cast-off sighs. You're asking me to accept oblivion for the sake of a girl who has been dead for centuries. You want me to set aside all my history because you want someone else to reach her potential. And she taps her foot thoughtfully. But isn't that what we're all doing? Aren't we all trying to make a better world for someone else? And she throws her arms up in the air. Fine, give it to her. I don't care. You've convinced me. Kill us all. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think it was the best decision. A fair answer, says the Sorrow. If this is your choice, then we shall commence with a solution. That was really pretty. The Sorrow stretches its arms. Prepare yourself, it says. The lights that dance through its form coalesce. The tormented minds that hang within it begin to stream away, drawn to some hidden singularity at the heart of the chamber. The Sorrow dissolves, thread by thread, into that invisible hole, decohering into a lattice, a ring, a nearly comprehensible language of symbols and thoughts laying its purpose bare. A pure white light grows at the heart of the resonance, reaching towards you. The light envelops you in a soft embrace. The walls of the labyrinth collapse around you. You and the other cast-offs become the singularity. And the minds of the cast-offs trickle towards you. A stream, a torrent, a flood, a tsunami of experience and memories that stretch across centuries and worlds unimagined. And you remember it all. You remember it all. The pain and tragedy and suffering and triumph. All the motes and dreams of countless others trying to leave their mark on the world. Let's let the memories come. The torrent continues as you surrender control. Oh, so this was me choosing to merge with the others rather than just me surviving. So I could have made a decision to just be me. The torrent continues as you surrender control. The memories of cast-offs you have met, the ones you will never meet, fill your mind and overwhelm you. You taste their bitter notes and their sweet, and the knowledge of solitude and the deaths of friends. Every life, every love, every enemy. The first kiss, the first broken heart, the triumph of justice served, the ashen thrill of revenge realized, sadness, joy, fear, anger, the secrets hidden and the truths revealed. All their memories and hopes congeal and compress, joining yours. They overwhelm you. A rising tide of the men's and wills honed by centuries of life, drowning you within them. You surrender your identity, sinking into the resonance, and they sink with you, combining into a single sweet note. And then the memories are gone as you stream into Mika's mind and memories, filling her with the wisdom and experience of your lives. You shut out the sensation and thought, coiling in on yourself like a flower returning to its seed. And then, a great radiance surrounds your mind, an encompassing brilliance. You sleep into oblivion, secure in the knowledge that some fraction of your life continues on. When you open your eyes, vertigo assails you. The sorrow hovers here, its tendrils coiling and twisting. You sit up. The detritus of the battles surround you, but you feel a quietness in the room, a lack. It takes you a moment, and then you realize the first is gone, as are all her allies. Not just dead, but vanished utterly. The world is familiar, but you are seeing it through new eyes. You feel your consciousness slipping away, as if sliding under a tectonic plate. You are becoming Mika. The resonance is sealed, says the sorrow. The tide's once again at rest. Your father's final vessel has restored you to life, and all the cast-offs are a part of you now. Our journey is concluded. What happened to the last cast-off? He chose to give his life for you. He allowed his mind to join those of his siblings in the resonance, and they created the foundation for your new life. What happened to my father? Lost, child. He spent his years trying to restore you to life. He has succeeded, though at the cost of his own. That's the poetic brilliance of this ending right there. The sorrow pauses. I caution you against any attempt to restore him. Let his legacy be manifest in your person. What will you do now? I say to my companions.
First order of business is to get out of the bloom. Maybe head back to Orman. I need to let my people out. After that, if you happen to be in the area, I'd be happy to introduce you to my wife and daughter. They'd like to meet you, I bet. Come to think of it, I would too. You're the one whose life kicked all this off, after all. And you're new to it. I'll give you some pointers. Worked out well for the last person that lived in your body.
If you need me, I'll be here, lass. Otherwise, I'll be looking for some distance from this whole mess.
Do? Now? The now has never felt so much like an end until, well, now. I suppose I could find another beginning? That's what I'd like. Saving the world for someone else.
What is Eridis doing here? Shouldn't he be gone? Go now, says the sorrow. Choose a wiser path than your father did, and we will not meet again. The sorrow fades into the air, and then it is gone. You look away from the diseased patch of air, but this place is not much better. You are surrounded by blackened, bloody rubble, by death. It is time, perhaps, for some fresh air. Taking a deep breath, you set off. The daughter of the changing god set out into the world he had without knowing made for her. She traveled in the body that had once belonged to the last cast-off, and with a mind forged by sacrifice. You were remembered for your wisdom and selflessness. For many years to come, tales of your life inspired healers to know themselves, to better themselves, and to make the world a better place. Aligern returned to Orman with a frame that had brought him so much grief. One by one, he pulled his tattoos free and cast them through the black metal portal. His friends emerged, one on the other side, dazed and shocked by their long years of imprisonment in Aligern's mind and body. He saved his wife and daughter for last, hoping without hope that they would be unharmed. They suffered no lasting damage. Over his remaining years, Aligern learned to understand the frame and its function. Ormond became a nomadic village carried on the body of a solitary traveler. Its people flourished, and none forgot the name of the man who showed them the new way, Aligern. What became of Calistige, no one knows. Some say she wandered into the deserts around Sagas. Others say she was found dead on the streets shortly after the most recent Bloomquake. And others still say she wanders the known worlds, seeking something forever beyond reach. Seeking a way to atone for his failures, Tibir left Sagas and the Bloom behind, and traveled to the nameless village where he and Oving had once broken each other's heart. To his surprise, he found the villagers were still there. The noble that tried to drive them away had been killed by a large masked man many years ago. To his credit, Tibir did not lie to them. He told them who he was and what he had done, and he swore to protect them until the end of his days. He did, and the villagers forgave him in time. Later, they respected him, and when he died in his sleep... Oh, I wanted to go back. Okay, when he died in his sleep. I didn't press. The hero Herites was never seen again. But in a nameless field not far from the Valley of Dead Heroes, an aging herdsman drove his newly bought yawl towards a run-down hut. Humming to himself, he rebuilt the hut stone by stone. That night he slept better than he had in years. He lived out his many years as a stranger to everyone who saw him in the tiny town where he bought his supplies. And one day, a shopkeeper realized he hadn't seen the herdsman in months. That was the last time anyone thought of the man Herites of the man Herites had become, yeah. Reen returned to her world content. She had rescued the one who had so kindly rescued her. In so doing, she brought closure to a significant part of her life. She would never forget the last cast-off. As for the rest of her story, that is yet to be written. Okay, I can't go back. I can press this, but yeah. Pico and Keek spent a long life together. Eventually, Pico convinced Keek that there were better jobs on the streets above. They had it hard, but they had always each other. They eventually married and left the Sagas Protectorate in search of a quieter life. The Fifth Eye veterans recruited for the Endless Battle fought hard, but with the disappearance of the cast-offs, the Endless Battle quickly petered out. A few groups... I'm looking at this, by the way, that's why I sometimes stop. A few groups continued to fight, but most of the combatants left for other battles or simply for the comfort of a Fifth Eye drink. The tiny construct children of the crippled foremen scattered throughout the city. They began building things at random, much to the consternation of Master Foreman. Yeah, finally the Master Foreman called for his workers to bring the small constructs into him. He was surprised at how much they had grown. Apparently they had been building themselves as well as random pieces of the city. He now instructs them, treating them as he does his human workers, although it is clear he favors them more. What's unclear is how well they will continue to follow his instructions. Okay. The quakes beneath Sagas Cliff ceased for many years, despite Peliai's concerns that without leverage over them, the Stika would return someday. She would stand in the square most days, preaching her fear to whoever would listen. One day... Okay, we didn't get the Kickstarter thing. One day, Peliai announced that she had evidence the Stika had returned. She called for a group of brave souls to follow her beneath the city to stop them before it was too late. Several of her bravest listeners followed her into the dark. Nobody knows what has become of them. Huh. Okay. They probably died. With the Endless Gate, the Endless Gate closed, Ronos and the other surviving memorialists were able to clean and rebuild. There were so few of them left, so it took months before the last of the blood was removed. They used several different barrier ciphers to block the tomb that had held the Endless Gate, in case something else ever came through again. They never did get rid of the smells. The Bloom was relatively quiet for days after the Sorrow's attack and on the Memovida's fortress. Nearly all of the Memovida's soldiers had fled, and the rest of the Bloom's denizens waited quietly, wondering what would happen. When the Memovida did not return and nobody rose up to take her place, that's when the fighting began, of course. It started with the mutants in Little Niliash, but soon every faction was involved. The Bloom became a deadly battleground. The Bloom itself seemed to encourage, engorging itself on the lust for its denizens. Bruska anchored a small contingent of civilians inside the fortress, hoping that the violence would die down. They're still there. Hoping. Did they die there, or is that a siege? What was left of Artaglia's irregulars left the Bloom in disgrace. With nowhere to go, they ended up heading their separate ways, each of them trying to outrun their past, each of them haunted forever by it. Yeah, it makes sense. I think that was a good ending for them, though. The ruins of Mil Abyss lie broken, untouched. It is more than a century before a group of explorers stumble upon them, wondering what happened in this place. What in the Ninth World could have caused so much destruction? Oh, they will never know. They will never know. So there we go. That was the end of Torment, Tides of Numenera. What? That was a bug. That was a bug. But yeah, there we go. That was the end. What a fantastic game. I wished it had been, I don't know, it's a brilliant game. It's just a brilliant, fantastic game. I wish it had built up to a funnel of amazingness at the end, but it was already so amazing from the start. I was feeling so surprised and so much joy at all the things, at all the people that we met, and it's just like from the start that I don't think it would have been possible to make it an ending that would have crescendoed to something much greater than it already was, and it managed to be really satisfying. I think the ending that we chose was really pretty. I think it's like a redeeming of what the Changing God was trying to do, and Mika really didn't. She didn't deserve dying. Of course, it was a disease. Of course, the cast-offs didn't either. But the thing is, I didn't see any way to save the cast-offs without sacrificing even more people. So I just joined together the poetic beauty of the ending with the pragmatical reason in that ending. So this is a brilliant, fantastic game. I'm hopeful that In Exile will make a director's cut, so I will not be playing this game again myself. I probably won't be playing it again on camera. Who knows what the future holds, really. Who knows what's gonna happen in 40 years if I am still around. But this game is just amazing, and the next time I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna hopefully play it with either DLC or with the director's cut. There's a few bugs here and there. The crashes that we see are not actually from the game, it's from my graphics card, although they only happen in this game and in Expeditions Viking. I don't know why, but it is my graphics card. It's the same bug, and I'm terrible with updates and all that sort of stuff, so who knows. I'm just for your information, I'm playing on Windows 7 with a barely updated version. I only update with the critical security fixes so I can keep away any sort of nastiness from Windows 10 and all that sort of stuff. And I run very stable, non-updated graphic drivers, but clearly these ones are not being stable on this game and in Expeditions Viking. So that's I updated my graphics drivers. It's gonna be a year now. Nah, it's probably 10 months ago, and they have been rock solid. But I'm probably gonna end up to have to update them again pretty soon. Anyway, that's gonna be that for Torment, Tides of Numenera. I don't know if this game really deserves the Torment name. I think it was more of a cash grab that they really used to the best of their abilities. Although the game, well, they used the best of their abilities because the game garnered a lot of attention, but I think it ended up biting In Exile in the end, biting them in the butt, because it didn't sell well at all. It really didn't sell well. I think their latest figures are around 200,000 copies sold. And I expect them to have expected at least 500,000 copies sold. It's you know, that's why I say it didn't sell well. It's still a fantastic number, but the problem is it's a big team with fantastic writers. It's all except for Avalon, really. I think kind of nameless writers, not really nameless writers actually. I'm being unfair here. There's a lot of people with a lot of experience. For example, the guy that wrote Inafir, I believe it's his name. Was it Inafir? It was Inafir. That guy has experience writing brilliantly acclaimed games, and I will have to play them sooner or later. And I really enjoyed Inafir. I really enjoyed the writing for the most part. There's only one complaint, really, the whole thing about when, for example, we were talking to the Sorrow, its size. Yeah, that's so non-standard. It's really tricky for me as well to, you know, if you're not watching, for me to convey what it's saying right now, its size. It doesn't matter, because I don't read the name, the Sorrow, its size. I don't say it like that. So for me, I notice it immediately. But I'm pretty sure if I were playing by myself and not actually saying things out loud, that it would confuse me as well, and I'd need to keep looking at who is talking. Maybe it works well for that. I just feel it's not common for that to happen. I definitely, excuse me. I definitely don't see that as a problem in any other game, but I do know that some of the games do this as well. I just, somehow they are not a problem. I don't know. Anyway, that was really my only complaint about the game. But then again, if you are a backer, I was a backer as well of the Kickstarter campaign. If that's why I was looking for the credits, see if my name showed up, but I don't think it does. I don't think they put in the Kickstarter backers in here. But if you were a backer and if you, well, let's put it like this. If you fell for their marketing strategy, take that in your stride and learn who In Exile is. They are not a bad company. I feel they are, unfortunately, a result of the times, I guess. I'm sure if they existed in the future, they would have a different way of doing things. I really think that In Exile has the best intentions in their mind. Brian Fargo, in particular, is a very interesting man. He's brought to the world a very big amount of joy, I think, directly and indirectly. And I am very thankful that he's back doing RPGs. And whenever he's just interesting. He's an interesting guy. He's not. I don't feel that he is. Excuse me, as marketable, I would say, as, for example, Josh Sawyer. For example, I feel that Josh Sawyer does a really good job of marketing his ideas, of explaining things, and I feel Josh Sawyer is more marketable. Brian Fargo is more of a businessman, and so he's not as relatable. And I have very little background in business myself, so it's tricky for me to actually understand his point of view and his perspective when he talks. But it's just, you can tell that the man loves this, and you absolutely need to make a game like this. There's no way that any other, I don't think not even Obsidian would have made a game like this, and certainly none of the indie developers, because this requires a huge effort. This game had a troubled development cycle, where the lead designer basically left halfway through. Well, not halfway through, basically, but halfway through for him. The problem is he was taking too long. And making games is important. It's important to keep your It's not just, you know, the feature creep that's a problem. It's also your expectations of the development time that need to be tapered down. If you want to make a game for 3 years, you need to be able to complete the game that you're thinking you're gonna make in a year, and then you have another year to remake the game you thought you were gonna make, unless you have just, you know, like a sequel or something that's very rooted in a thing that you already know. But, you know, if it's a game like this, if it took, I don't know how long it took, actually. This was back in 2012 that they made the Kickstarter campaign, I think. Am I mistaken on that, or was that 2013? Anyway, it was at least 3 years, so they had to project the game for being able to complete it in a year to be able to safely deliver a thing out, because you need another year to remake it and just to iterate and all that, because it's never gonna take a year. It always takes more. And then you need another year to test and all that sort of stuff. But the problem is the first designer, and I don't remember his name, I apologize, he had a very big vision, but he wasn't able to put it into place, and Brian Fargo stepped in, I believe, and he he hosted it. I don't think he's still, I don't know if he's still working for In Exile, but it took him away from the reins, and the new lead designer stepped in. Let's look at who he is. I mean, it's in here, should be in here. It should be the main one. Yeah, Monty Cook Games and all that sort of stuff. Unity, yeah, because, you know, Pillars of Eternity engine is Unity. Just tweaked and all that sort of stuff. So Brian Fargo is the executive producer. That's the executive president, I suppose. VP of operations. Chris Kinnan, that's the one, I believe. That's the lead designer. Kevin Saunders. No, that's Kevin. I think it starts with a K. So yeah, that's that. But anyway, that's gonna be that. Look forward for tomorrow. My voice is going away. I've been recording the last few episodes all in a string. But I can only thank you very, very much for watching until the end. I know this is a special series, and I'm very, very surprised that it's been taken so well by you guys. Excuse me. that you guys have stuck with me from the beginning. It's a long game. People were saying, oh, this is a short game. No, it's not. I know I talk a bunch of stuff, but if I didn't talk, this would still take like 60 hours to complete. It's a huge game. This is an enormous game. It's not, I mean, it's longer than Pillars of Eternity, the one without expansions, and it's more replayable. And it's got less combat, which is amazing. This is a fantastic game. I can praise it high enough. I don't think it's the best RPG I've ever played, but that's because I played The Age of Decadence. But it's very, very, very high. I think it is the second best RPG I've ever played. I don't think I have to feel sorry for saying that. This is amazing. And thank you very much for watching. As I was saying, thank you very much for sticking with me, even if you joined me halfway through, or if you joined me for the end, for the last episode. Thank you for listening to me until the end. Look for tomorrow for another episode of Torment. It's gonna be Planescape Torment. We're gonna play with the original game, none of this enhanced edition nonsense that I don't really know if I can trust, so I'm just gonna go with the original game because it's the one I own, because we can basically get the 1080p if we want, but I don't think I will run with that. I'm still setting up the game for Planescape Torment. First time I'm gonna play it. I did play it for like 5 hours, but I never finished it. Actually, it might have been a little bit more than that. We'll see. I always underestimate how much I've played of any game, but I just don't remember any of it. So it's gonna be a blind playthrough. Let's see if it is as good as this one. I hope it's better. I hope it's better. But yeah, for right now, I'm Colonel RPG. And I've said all the things that I need to say. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you tomorrow for Planescape Torment. Bye-bye.